So PS Kiome wrote a letter to the Anti-Corruption Commission on the 5th of March 2009 and brought it to court as exhibit number 29. You'll have the opportunity to look at, but surprisingly,
I'm showing the week. Sorry.
yes.
I'm showing the week exhibit 29.
Yes. But yeah.
Yes.
Now, this letter is dated 5th of March 2009. And the opening sent, this is transfer of Jabini Agricultural Training Center to a private developer.
The heading is?
Transfer of Jabini Agricultural Training Center land to a private developer.
So by invitation, it indicates the property belonging to
Jabini Agricultural Training Center.
Thank you so much.
But now the drama, Your Honor, for your amusement, is that this is in response. We are talking about a letter in March 2009. This is in response to your letter reference KACC Investigation 6/4 Volume 3/68 dated 14th of August 2009. So the PS for Agriculture is responding to a letter from the Anti-Corruption Commission in March for a letter received in August, 5 months before receiving the letter. The letter is dated 5th of March 2009.
Yes, that is to ESCC.
To Justice Aaron Ringera, who was the chief executive.
Yes, to ESCC.
Yes.
Yes.
But it is a letter in response to a letter from KACC.
So the letter in response to the letter dated 5th March 2009.
The letter on 5th of March is responding to a letter dated the 14th of August 2009, 5 months before. Anticipatory, I suppose.
Is there any other way other than the anticipatory?
So now this letter was, I believe, was contested, but then admitted, but not signed or anything. But that was the basis of Romano Kiome saying he complained because the PS for Lands did not respond to his letter. So the personal grudge between the two PSs was then taken to KACC, and we were dragged into this matter for having done nothing.
So the PS government claimed that he complained to ESCC
in March of 2009. But it appears he was actually responding to a letter from KACC.
because he did not receive a response from the Minister of Lands.
That's right.
Please look at that letter again.
Yes. And
Is it signed?
the letter was not signed. And he brought it to court and said that he was the author. So, but we, of course, have no idea. But the important thing,
So which one is not signed? The one dated 14th
the one dated 5th of March,
or 5th March?
the 5th March is not dated, but it's referring to responding to a letter of August.
That did not exist at the time.
I thought that did not exist. So I'm not even sure that this was just done for the court.
Let's look at that letter again before we go to anything else. The court will, of course, look at this letter and make its own findings on it. But I want you to look at the reference indicates the property belonged to Jabini.
Yes,
FTC.
the insinuation.
The letter dated
5th of March,
5th of March.
the one complaining, it's indicating that the letter, the transfer of Jabini Agricultural Training Center land to a private developer.
At any point, was that a correct statement in any event?
From all the records,
So that is the exit 29.
29 years, Your Honor.
yes. Exhibit 28,
Is it 28 or 29?
MFI 29.
Council,
I think it's 29, Your Honor. Let's confirm.
Yes, yeah, 28.
Is it 28 and
29, 29,
I know
29.
what you told me.
It is 29, Your
29,
Honor.
29.
It is 29.
So we are still on exit 29.
Yes, yes, Your Honor. From the document that we have earlier referred to Mr. Kimunya, did that property at any time belong to Jabini FTC?
From the green card we just looked at earlier, the registered owner from 1978 was the settlement fund trustees. And from August of 2005, that registered owner became, from 2006, that registered owner became Midlands Limited.
Thank you very much. Because the allegation is that you committed this offense on the 30th of June 2005, it is your testimony that you did not.
Yes, it is.
You continue to deny all the allegations on count 1.
In fact, I deny all of them on the basis that I didn't even have the power to dispose, and I couldn't dispose what I did not have, or even influence in any way disposal of one person's property to another.
Might you have conferred on yourself authority you didn't have and actually committed the offenses that you are charged with on count 1?
I'm not aware of anyone making those allegations either here or giving any evidence that I actually did that, and it will not have been possible, not within government, to actually give yourself power that you don't have.
Did your office at all have the authority to do what you are alleged to have done?
Your Honor, I didn't have, but I think like I said earlier, there was this general misunderstanding about who are the trustees, and I think the prosecution may also have fallen a victim to that misunderstanding and assumed I am a trustee, and hence enjoined me into a matter that I was not party to. The trustees were the Minister for Agriculture and the Minister for Finance. And the Minister for Lands has never been a trustee under the CAP 318.
The trustees were?
The Minister for Agriculture, his reliever in the absence of that substantive, and the Minister for Lands, for Finance.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kimunya. Save for the allegation by the investigating officer that you committed this or he charged you because you are a minister. Did anybody else, do you recall any other person giving evidence to support the allegations on count number 1?
There was absolutely nobody else who talked about that or any other. And indeed, 9 out of, if I recall, about 9 out of the 17 witnesses gave evidence in this court that I was not involved, or did not call them, or that the matter was properly done. And all those are within the court records.
Thank you very much. Please let us now look at count number 3. You may wish to reveal the particulars I have already read for you on count number 3. You are charged with fraudulent disposal of public property, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, on the 30th of June 2005. What would you like to tell me, Your Honor, on that particular allegation?
Your Honor, this is a rather serious charge on fraud. Now I go to the very character of the person who is charged. And again, it is like I was fraudulently disposed by causing a letter to be issued, and which we have gone to length to show I couldn't have caused such a letter, but also saying or knowing the said land was not available for alienation. Your Honor, as I said, this charge of fraud, I take it rather seriously. Like I said in my introduction, I'm a fellow of the Institute of Accountants. Mandated under the Accountants Act to uphold public interests. And I have spent quite a bit of time either investigating fraud or legislating on fraud. Your Honor, in 1991, I had the rare opportunity of spending 6 months as a fraud investigator at the Serious Fraud Office in London. And when I came back, the then Attorney General, Amos Wako, in 1994, appointed me as a member of a task force to review penal laws and procedures, specifically looking at economic crimes. And Your Honor,
To review the
penal laws and procedures, it was a task force to review penal laws and procedures, and I specifically was looking at economic crimes. And this gave birth to the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act of 2003.
You have done work with regard to the matters for which you are outwardly charged.
Yes,
Sorry.
indeed, I was a member of the advisory board of the Kenya Anti-Corruption Authority and employed Justice Ringera.
In that capacity, did you get to specifically and personally know?
That you are a member of what?
The advisory board of the Kenya Anti-Corruption Authority, the precursor to the Corruption Commission, that set up, the current, the infrastructure for the current EACC.
Economic crimes, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And specifically on matters of fraud and accusations of fraudulent disposal or anything fraud. From my own training and going back to those many years, 5 elements are required to prove fraud.
That is from the work you did?
From the work I did.
Yes.
And I believe it's the same that any investigator would have been trained.
To your knowledge, what are those elements?
The first one, there must be false representation. As a false statement or representation is made by one party. And the second element, Your Honor, is there must be knowledge of that falsity. That the person making the representation knows it's false or is a bit reckless about the truth, economical with its truth, if you like. The third element, it must be proved, is that the person making the false representation intended to deceive or to induce the other party to act. Your Honor, the fourth element is that of reliance that the other party to whom the representation has made actually relied on that false misrepresentation. And the final element is that there is damage or loss as a result of the reliance on the false misrepresentation.
In the course of this trial, Mr. Kimunya,
Yeah.
would you tell the court whether evidence was led towards establishing what you believe to be the elements of fraud, which is Honor knows very, very well?
To my recollection, there was not a single mention of how any of those elements came into play. The investigating officer did not even mention how I made any representation, false or not false, on the subject matter. The only reason he said he charged me because I was minister. But I don't know where being minister and those 5 elements intersect. But there was certainly no evidence brought. And I know, Your Honor, you are not dragged into this over those years. But when you go through the record, you'll find there's absolutely no evidence that has been brought to show how I made any false representation or to who and who then acted causing a loss. So the charge then against fraudulent disposal, to me, was very unfortunate, especially given that no attempt was made to even show how any of those elements came into play.
Did you take any undertaking as a minister with regard to the events that led to the registration of this parcel 1552 in the name of Midlands Limited?
And not to my recollection of anything brought to this court.
Did you, as minister, activate any process that would have assisted that transaction as alleged on count number 3?
Again, to my recollection, I wouldn't, and again, it also goes deeper. That apart from being accused of fraud, I'm even accused that I even knew the land was not available.
Did you know that? Did you have the record of the property?
I didn't have the record of the property in my office, and even if I had, from what I've seen in court, that the land was registered in SFT, my reading of section 167 is very clear that SFT as a body corporate had the power to purchase, to dispose of its land. And indeed, Your Honor, I introduced myself that I live in Kibipiri, and the entire Kibipiri is a settlement scheme. And all those people who bought their land, including my own, bought from SFT because it had the power to dispose of their property. And I'm sure there are so many others it has sold property to. And not just the small owners, we're talking of hundreds of acres or even thousands of acres allocated through SFT. But there was that misunderstanding that perhaps SFT is for squatters and landless people. But I'm aware that there are huge tracts of land, people who are facilitated to buy land through SFT. If the investigating officer would have cared to actually go to SFT and just look at how they operate and have sessions with the people in SFT, we would not have been here because they would have understood better. But according to Your Honor, according to the IO, he didn't think it was worth looking at the law that set up SFT or even interviewing them or even the officer administering the fund, because he had this conviction. Now, the land did not belong to SFT, the land belonged to Jabini. And hence, this court was denied of perhaps the knowledge that would have helped this matter had the investigator better understood the workings of SFT. And indeed also, Your Honor, had the complainant, the Permanent Secretary for Agriculture, bothered to spend time with his minister, who was the substantive trustee of the SFT. He would have understood how SFT works, and instead of rushing to the Anti-Corruption Commission, he would have sat down with his minister and understood why his minister was so passionate in launching a company at the site and convincing farmers to buy shares and talking about a factory being built to do value addition. And obviously, Your Honor, the question that all of us and the farmers were having is, if you're going to tell us to buy shares in a company to do value addition, where will this company be putting up the factory? And he's launching a company on the site and planting a tree on the site was to indicate that the Ministry of Agriculture was behind that initiative, and indeed was showing the members of the public where the factory would be built. Because, Your Honor, we could have had the launch at the stadium, but specifically the launch was at the site, which is ended up being eventually 58, 52.